Hi, today's podcast will be on psychological thrillers. आपण 3 चित्रपट घेतलेत, सायलन्स ऑफ द लॅम्ब्स, जोकर आणि सेवन. हे तीनही चित्रपट इंग्लिश मूवीज आहेत आणि त्यावर बोलायला माझा एक बेस्टेस्ट फ्रेंड येणार आहे, आर्यन. तर त्याचं आपण स्वागत करूया. लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड. सो दिस इज माय फ्रेंड आर्यन आणि खूप स्मार्ट मुलगा आहे तो. तर त्यामुळे आपण just let's get started. Okay. So my first
Alright.
question is, please tell us something about this genre, Aryan. What is exactly like psychological thrillers के बारे में क्या बोल पाओगे?
So basically, thrillers are the main genre here, and psychological thrillers come under thrillers basically. So thrillers are something that keep you on your feet. Okay, they'll have this heightened feelings of anxiety or excitement, sometimes even disgust. So yeah, we'll get to know ahead movie mein. I mean, in this video, ki what all actually comes into picture here. So that's mostly about it. Yeah, also thrillers are all mostly fictitious. It's not always the truth or something from real life, but sometimes people take events from real life and then tod marod ke they make it interesting for you. So that's how thrillers work.
And Aryan, why not something else? Why did you choose these particular movies? Like why only Joker, Seven, and Silence of the Lambs?
So Joker, Seven, and Silence of the Lambs are like the perfect example for psychological thrillers. They literally play with you. You will actually end up questioning stuff like, is this how life should be, or maybe is the killer right, or is the person who did it was right? Like Joker is about an antagonist from the mainstream Batman, but Joker is a villain, so it's about his life. So you'll start questioning yourself, was Joker actually doing the right thing? In fact, when this movie was going to get released, right, Joker, people are afraid because this might start riots. It might lead to people relating to the character itself so much. You'll have more Jokers coming up here and there. So yeah, so that's about Joker. Seven is about another serial killer basically. So it's about how this serial killer ends up killing people according to the 7 sins in the Bible. So it is really interesting to see because the end for sure has a twist that you'll love. So Seven is worth a watch. Silence of the Lambs is one of those few movies which have bagged the Oscars for Best Actor, Male, Female, the Best Screenplay, I guess, if I'm not wrong. A lot of Oscars in short, and nominations too. So this is one of the 4 movies, I guess, which has done so. So yeah, it's worth watching.
Super. Great. So talking about the movies, we usually talk about the leads, the main characters. So apart from them, ऐसे कुछ characters थे जो just scene stealers ऐसा कुछ.
I'm glad you asked. So Seven में the main actor, as in the antagonist, the protagonist, which is Brad Pitt. Uske alawa there is Morgan Freeman, who is in supporting role. Uska.
Okay.
Morgan Freeman is splendid in the role. To be honest, he's too good. Brad Pitt, being Brad Pitt, acted really well. Morgan Freeman is another legend, obviously, and he was superb. I can say in some scenes, he actually, made Brad Pitt look like a kid in front of him. So in Seven, it's Morgan Freeman. I would say Joker, right? Joaquin Phoenix ate everybody. Like Joaquin Phoenix, the main character itself was so good, and he was so into the character. I couldn't say anybody else acted as good as him. But Robert De Niro, he acted well too. He's a good actor, and obviously, he was playing a journalist. Not exactly a journalist. He was a talk show host, and so he did a good job there. Now, coming back to Silence of Lambs, salute to Anthony Hopkins. He played Dr. Hannibal Lecter. So the story behind Silence of the Lambs is this detective is behind another serial killer, and she takes help of a serial killer to find the serial killer, because who else would know a serial killer better? So she takes help of this serial killer, who is Anthony Hopkins. Trust me, if you watch the movie, you'll be petrified by his acting. I'll tell you, aage bhi, there are a lot of things that come up. Yeah, you'll see. So yeah, these
Great,
people have
great.
nailed it.
Superb, superb. This is very informative, Aryan. And something about behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Okay, so let's start with Seven. Okay, so Seven. There's a scene where basically Brad Pitt actually goes to the apartment of the serial killer. They have almost found the serial killer, and they go there, but it turns out the serial killer actually sees them and he's running. So Brad Pitt, so basically Morgan Freeman is a bit old, okay, in the movie, and he is going to retire in some time. So he couldn't really take on a chase. So Brad Pitt, being the younger one, he goes ahead, runs behind him, and it turns out, okay, the movie scene has this, that he gets injured in the scene.
So this is a chase sequence.
Yes, it's a chase sequence where Brad Pitt is behind the serial killer. And the scene actually tells us that, like, it was scripted that he'll get injured, but Brad Pitt, going the extra mile, he actually injured himself. We're talking about severed tendons and an exposed bone on his hand. That's how severe it was. So he basically injured his arm with this windshield, basically. And again, he's a brilliant actor, so he kept on going. So he completed the scene with that entire thing in his hand, the injury. And after the scene was done, he goes to the director. He's like, so
ta-da, surprise.
Yeah, but it turns out it was so gruesome, his hand, like, jo scene mein dikha, that they ended up excluding the scene. So we didn't see the actual take, but it was too good. Now, moving on to Joker. So Joker, the behind the scene about this is really interesting, because Joker is known for his laughter, the way he laughs. It's crazy. It's chaotic. Basically, it's because you look at Joker and the first thing you imagine is him laughing. So his laughter is different. It shows pain more than funny. You know how funny it is. So what we see here is Joaquin Phoenix tried to laugh on sets. Okay, like, he was told, you laugh, you actually, it has to be painful. That's what the director told him. But sometimes that laughter never came out on scenes. He tried, but sometimes it never just came out. So what happened was, they told, Aaj nahi ho raha, it's okay, we'll go on for the next day. Next day, we'll try again. And that's how they got their,
perfect
scenes
shot.
where he laughs. Yeah. So that's it about Joker. Also, Joaquin Phoenix took this role really seriously. He had some severe changes in him. Like, he went and met such people, who spoke, like, who had such problems about laughing, or like, if they feel tense, they start laughing. So he actually studied such cases, and he is this bulky character. Not that he is the bulky guy, but the character is really lanky. So what he did for the character is, he lost 52 pounds. 52 pounds is too much. He was skinny, he was bony, literally, for the character itself. He did that to himself. And yeah, obviously he won an Oscar for it. So yeah, worth it. Now, Silence of the Lambs was more like a funny, I can say it is kind of funny, because Jodie Foster was the lead role in, the female lead, and Anthony Hopkins was the male lead. So the thing over here is, whenever they came on set, always, he was a serial killer, right? So he was on the other side of the glass, and she was on the other side. So they never actually spoke on the set. Like, like, if we are shooting a movie, oh, how are you? That never happened between them. It's because Jodie Foster was petrified by his acting. Because he, being a serial killer, what he had to do was, he had to stare at her. Stare at places and look in the eye. Because, in fact, even the steel bars, right? they were actually widened. Like the space between them is because the director wanted to see their eyes, because obviously acting. So the actor, right? He never wanted, this to be his main cast, Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. But it turns out he made the wise decision, and both of them won Oscars and got Oscars for him too. So yeah, so the eyes, yeah, the scene was when she's talking to him, he stares at her and he's like, oh, this, and it's basically terrifying for anybody talking to a serial killer, and that guy nailed it. Anthony Hopkins nailed it, and obviously it's really scary. So she never spoke to him on sets.
Okay.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Super.
Also, about Silence of the Lambs, the antagonist Buffalo Bill was known for skinning their victims, as in killing them and then getting their skin out, and then making masks, body suits out of them. So this is actually inspired by 3 serial killers, but 2 of them are very well known. So the first one being
You're
Ted
talking
Bundy.
about real serial
Reality.
killers.
Yes,
Okay.
I told you, right? It's not always fictitious. Like it's mostly fictitious, but sometimes they take inspiration from real characters. So there was a real serial killer called Ted Bundy who used to act as if he's injured. He'd wear a sling in his hand, or he would take a crutch, and he would drop stuff out of his car and would ask women to help him. Like, oh, I'm injured. Can you please help me? And then he used to dump them in the car and then take them and kill them. So that's Ted Bundy. And Ed Gein. Ed Gein was a nasty serial killer. He used to bring victims at his home, get their skins out, make body suits with them, make stuff with them. He used to make sofa covers, different stuff. So that's how this character got inspired. Yep, from real life serial killers.
So here the feeling of disgust comes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
Nice.
but it actually plays with your head that how can a human end up doing such stuff. So
Okay.
kudos
Okay,
to
this
the
is getting
director.
brutal now. Very brutal. Okay.
Yeah, so that's it for Silence of the Lambs.
Okay, okay. And what about the technicalities? ऐसा कुछ scenes था जिसमें ये shot क्या लिया, ये angle से वो scene और अच्छी
Yep.
तरीके से impact मतलब डाला उसने, ऐसा कुछ था?
Yes, so scenes and what they did for scenes basically. So let's start with Seven again. So Seven major serial killer tha, right? He had a book. So he wrote his his observations about world. Is this right? What are we doing as people? So that book had some his writings, and those writings were taken by real people, like real psycho cases by real psychopaths, how they wrote in their books. And also they had real case photos, like the brutal murder pictures. They took them and they put it in the book. And it's like these guys, they write, they really spare no space in their notebooks, really crunched, really small handwriting. वैसे था. So that's how they made it, like the books. So it puts the reality into the picture, the movie. And that's how like deep they went into making the characters and the other props basically. So there was this about Seven. Moving on, then Joker. So Joker Joker had some scenes, okay, which were not taken during the movie but behind the scenes. So there was a scene where Joaquin Phoenix, right, he's in his underwear and he's dancing, just dancing, and there's music behind. But the director was like, we can use this in the movie. So what they did was they removed all the sound, put it in slow motion, and added a filter in such a way it looked dark, as if Joaquin Phoenix was actually disturbed and he was dancing. That's in his bathroom. He's like, and it's too good for a shot. And they actually never expected that to happen, because obviously, who would take behind the scenes for the main movie? So Yeah, this. Yeah, and Silence of the Lambs had this really unique feature about the movie where you'd see that Hannibal Lecter, also Anthony Hopkins, they look at you in the movie, not Jodie Foster.
So
So
this
it's
is a
like the
POV shot.
camera.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that is to create fear in your minds. Ki, okay, this guy is looking at
Mm-hmm.
me and he's too good. When you say the stare is good, it's too good. Yeah, it's scary.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, damn. So
Nice.
yeah, also there are some things which are like, unanswered in the movie.
Hmm.
In Silence of the Lambs. Jo aage I'll tell you more about it. So yeah, that's how how the directors have played with us with the movies, with our brains actually. So that's
That's what
all for it.
psychological thrillers do. You said earlier.
Yeah, precisely.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect examples.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
between the lines जो रहता है मतलब
Oh yeah.
like
Hmm.
we get something. The director doesn't say or
Yes.
doesn't present something in front of us, but we get this shit ये है okay. तो वैसा कुछ था.
Yes. So let's start a Joker here because
Mm-hmm.
Joker is more like everything happens for a reason. So Arthur Fleck, also known as Joker, was nothing but a street clown. He only wanted to make people happy, but he never received that love from his mom or his co-workers or people around him or neighbors, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how love, how a person who is deprived of love can actually change into a monster. How evil a person can get. Like one moment he's the street clown, and the other moment he's controlling a riot in Gotham City against all the powerful people, all powerful rich brats of Gotham. Yeah. Also, because of these riots, he ends up killing Thomas and Martha Wayne, which is also Batman's parents. So he ends up giving birth to Batman. So everything happens for a reason, is what I think was between the lines here, at least. Moving on to Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs again has a lot of different stuff. Like I told you, some things remain like unanswered. So there's a scene. So basically, this guy is like, you give me personal information about your life. After all, it's a serial killer. He's a wacko. So he tells the detective that you tell me more about your life, personal life, and I'll help you find the serial killer, Buffalo Bill. So over here, there's a scene where Jodie Foster, she tells him about uska personal life, where she is moved to uska uncle ka farm after her father's death,
Oh.
and he is a farmer, uska uncle, and it was a slaughter season. So basically, you slaughter animals and then you send it out for yeah, they served as meat. So one night she could hear a lot of lambs screaming, and then it turns out once they were all killed, it was just the silence of the lambs. That's where the name of the movie comes. So she was again scared of this, and that's what he told to Hannibal Lecter. Now in the end, okay, there's a spoiler here. Hannibal Lecter actually escapes the prison. So he escapes, he ends up killing half of the precinct when he runs away. So Hannibal Lecter eats people. So yeah, he's a cannibal.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Hannibal Lecter. So in the end, once she finds Buffalo Bill, the main antagonist, she gets a call from Anthony Hopkins, that is
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is like, so finally, do you do do the lamb still scream? And she doesn't answer it. She leaves it as it is, which again plays with you. Okay, did this actually happen? Is she satisfied with what has happened? We don't know.
Okay.
So yeah, also in the end, you see Anthony Hopkins is sitting in front of this police officer who actually caught him, and he's like, I have an old friend who is at dinner today. So that means he isn't stopping here. He's still gonna kill people. And talking about Seven, finally,
Hmm.
So did the serial killer actually win? The serial killer wanted to kill 7 people according to the 7 deadly sins.
Hmm.
He was successful in doing that. Okay, there's a spoiler now. So in the end, after he killed 5 people, he took Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt to this unknown place. He's like, "You'll have to come to me. You'll have to come to me. You'll have to let me take you to this place, basically." And I would plead guilty. Then you can, yeah, that's what he said. And he's like, "If you don't let me take you to this place where 6 and 7, like wrath and envy, these are the baki ka those sins which were left. Unka bodies are buried yahan pe. Like if you take me there, if you let me take y'all there, I would plead guilty. Y'all can punish me."
Okay.
So they, and if he said, and there was a condition ki if you don't let me take you y'all there, I would plead of insanity. So बच जाएगा. Death sentence नहीं मिलेगा उसको. So they go to that place, and over there, okay. So what happens is the killer, he kills Brad Pitt's pregnant wife. Yep, and Brad Pitt never knew. Yeah, no, not exactly.
His wife was pregnant.
His wife was pregnant, and envy is more like, jealousy. So he envied the life that Brad Pitt and his wife was leading. So he was envier. He was like, "I am envy, and I am one of the people who's going to die here today." So he was confused about how can he actually say that. But then Detective Somerset, which is Morgan Freeman, he goes to this place. There's a delivery van which comes in with a delivery, and he's like, he told me to just deliver this thing here. It was the head of his wife in the box. And Somerset runs towards Brad Pitt. He's like, "Don't do it. Okay, what is it in this box?" And he doesn't really tell him that what is there in the box. But the serial killer obviously tells him it's his wife's head. And he tells Brad Pitt that you are Wrath right now. So become Wrath and kill envy. So that's what happens in the end, and Brad Pitt ends up shooting the serial killer. Now, what we are wondering here is,
get it.
yeah, he ends up winning. Okay, the serial killer wins, but the thing is, do you actually think that evil is the one who won? The person who won here, is evil the winning side? Because if you see carefully, a person like that deserved to die. Correct? Wrath being the 7th sin, did it actually end up killing a person for the wrong thing? Was it actually a sin in killing such a person? Point to think about. So yeah, that, and the best part of the movie is when it ends. Obviously, Brad Pitt is arrested for his crime. He killed a person.
Achha, okay.
Yeah, he obviously.
But he killed the serial killer, right? So
he killed the serial. He shot the serial killer. But then there are rules, right? You can't just shoot criminals. You have a procedure. Yeah. After all, government. So yeah. So the movie ends with Morgan Freeman quoting Ernest Hemingway, saying the world is a fine place and worth fighting for. And he continues saying, "I agree with the second part." And then the movie is over. It ends. The world
second part
is a fine place and worth fighting for. And he says, "I agree with."
Okay.
So that's how the movie ends. Like, didn't you think when I was speaking that it actually played with your head, like your head?
Right now it was. I didn't even. Okay, nice. Whoever is watching this, please go right now and watch all these.
It's available on Netflix. Just go and watch it.
Boom.
Too good. None of the IMDb's go below 8.5, which is yeah.
Hey, nice.